You walk into the gym again. You've been there 3, maybe 4 times a week. You've been consistent. Your form's getting better. You started eating a little cleaner. Maybe cut out sodas, swap fast food for protein bowls. You finish your workout sweaty, pumped, and then you catch yourself in the mirror and it all hits you. You look the same. There's no six pack, there's no definition. Still, that soft belly hanging over your shorts. PG. Still, that pudgy chest that you try to hide under your oversized hoodie. Still, that same face that's exhausted, frustrated, pretending you're proud, but secretly you're pissed off. Because you've been putting in the work, right? You've been doing the reps, you've been doing the meal prep, you've been doing something, so why the fuck isn't it showing? Let me break you the hard truth early. Effort doesn't equal progress. At least not the kind of effort that you've been sold. The show up and results will follow, that's a lie. The just clean and lift heavy, that's also a lie. The grind now and glow later, that's also a lie. No one wants to say this because it'll make people quit, but I don't really care. Because here's the brutal truth. You don't just get brownie points for showing up. You get points for actually changing. And right now, you're not changing. You're just coping. You're coping with the shame of how far you've let yourself go. You're coping with the insecurity that still owns your mind every time you take your shirt off. You're coping with the fact that you've been moving, but not evolving. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about why this happens to people like you. This is the identity gap. You think you're doing the work, but your identity is still stuck in the same place it was 6 fucking months ago. Here's what I mean. You go to the gym, but you still see yourself as the fat guy trying to get fit, right? So you eat clean for 3 days, but your default mindset is still, this won't last. So then you scroll Instagram for some fucking inspiration on fitness. But deep down, you still believe you're broken. So you try to be disciplined, but you expect yourself to fail. And guess what? Your subconscious mind will always pull you back to the level you believe you deserve. So even if you're lifting, even if you're sweating, even if you're logging every meal and macro under the sun, your internal standards is still wired for mediocrity and your results will always match that. That's why the mirror hasn't changed, buddy, because you haven't changed on the inside. Your identity hasn't shifted. You're still the same man trying to act like someone else instead of just becoming him. And I mean, no one is coming to save you. And I need to say something else because I see guys mess this up all the time consistently. They keep blaming the program. They keep blaming the coach, the routine, the calories.
Maybe I'm not eating the right macros. Maybe I need to go on TRT. I just have low testosterone.
Maybe I need to do more cardio. Maybe I need a different plan. No. Okay? You don't need a better plan. You need to stop bullshitting yourself. You need to stop acting like you're confused. You're not confused. You are scared. You are scared that real change means burning the version of you that's already been coasting. You're scared to fully commit, to believe, to buy into the process. You're scared that if you go all in and you fail again, it'll prove you are really hopeless. So instead, you half-ass your way through another 6 months of BS. Doing just enough to feel like you're making progress, but never enough to actually change your life. That's the truth you've been avoiding. You haven't been trying, you've been managing, you've been fantasizing, you've been playing make-believe, you've been pacifying, you've been hiding behind effort instead of demanding results, and I get it. Because I was there, dude. Okay? 17 years. I used to convince myself that I was just doing my best. I used to say, at least I'm not like I used to be, right? I just kept getting fatter though. I used to say I'm working on it. I didn't. But one day I realized, working on it is just a socially acceptable way of staying fucking weak. And staying weak is a choice. So here's the question you need to answer, because I'm not. I've already done this. Are you ready to kill the version of yourself who's been wasting your potential? Or are you going to keep pretending that showing up is enough? Because 6 months from now, the mirror will still be waiting, and it's not going to change, and it does not lie. So let us break down the loop that you're stuck in right now, because it's not physical. It's psychological. It's neurological. Okay? It's subconscious. It's a system built on false dopamine hits that trick you into thinking you're making progress when really, you're just spinning in circles. Okay? Here's how it works. You have a pain spike. You look in the mirror. Your doctor says you're going to die. You have a bad blood test. You get winded walking up a flight of stairs, or your shirt doesn't fit right. So you say, that's it, I'm changing. I don't like how I look in this picture. So you hit the gym, you buy some fucking supplements, you watch a few David Goggins motivational videos, you clean up your diet for a few days, and then Friday hits, stress hits, a birthday hits, a fuck it moment hits, and you slip. So then one cheat meal becomes 2 cheat meals. You skip one workout, you skip all workouts. You say, I'm gonna start Monday again, but Monday is already filled with guilt, shame, and self-sabotage, my man. So now you're back to where you just started, but probably worse, because you're more discouraged, a little more jaded. A little more convinced that maybe you're just not the type of guy who thinks he could change. That's the loop. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of emotional mastery. You never built the identity that can override the pull of comfort. You didn't fail because you didn't try. You failed because you were still trying to change your behavior without ever trying to change your fucking beliefs. And belief runs the show. Not your macros, not your reps, not your fucking steps. So here's the real reason that you're stuck. I'm going to tell you something that most fitness shitfluencers are too scared to admit. Most people don't need to buy a new program. They need to burn the rule book that they've been living by and living in. Here's the rule book most men follow, okay? Just don't go too hard too fast. Just, you don't want to go to be the extreme. Just, you need balance, right? Take rest days when you're tired. You need to listen to your body. You need to be kind to yourself, right? And look, I get it. That sounds nice. It does. But what if being kind to yourself has just become a cover for you never facing the hard truth and reality? What if that balance is code for never being dangerous? What if listening to your body means surrendering to every impulse that's made you fat, that's made you soft, that's made you emotionally weak? That's what the world won't say. Because if they did, they'd lose likes, they'd lose comments, followers, and fragile fans. But I'm not here for likes or attention. I'm here to wake you the fuck up. Because I needed to hear this when I was younger. You've been trapped by just enough thinking, okay? Just enough workouts to feel like you're tired. Just enough discipline to not feel guilty. Just enough to trick your brain into staying the same. That's why the mirror hasn't changed, dude. Because just enough never built a life that you are proud of. You need to cross the line. There's a line most people, most men, they never cross. It's not in your training plan. It's not in your kitchen. It's not in your mind. It's the moment you go from, I hope I can stick to this, to, and you need to write this down. There is no version of me that doesn't see this through. That's when your results start to scare people. That's when your girl starts looking at you differently. That's when strangers ask you, what the fuck, how did you do this? What are you doing? That's when you look in the mirror and think, holy shit, I did this. I earned this. And no one can take it away from me because I did it. But to cross that line, you have to be done lying to yourself. You have to be done saying you're trying, saying you're busy, saying that you're going to start next week, next month, next New Year's resolution. You have to be done calling mediocre effort your best, because it's a lie. It's not. Because you know better now. And if you know better now, you better do better now. So the shift starts here. I'm going to be really crystal clear. This is not about perfection. This is about identity. If you want to change your body, you need to become the type of person who doesn't tolerate anything less than transformation. Not coping, not tracking forever, not endless self-help videos. You need to become the guy who doesn't negotiate with his own weaknesses. And the best part, that version of you is already inside. He's just been suffocating under years of neglecting excuses, self-doubt, and mental bullshit. You don't need to find him, you need to unleash him. And you do that by drawing a hard fucking line in the sand, by deciding no matter what it takes, you are done being average. Done being the almost guy. Done letting yourself off the hook with emotional justifications. You've got the fire now. It's time to build the frame. So to be different right now. Let's get this part out of the way. If any of this is hitting you in the chest, in the mind, in the brain, in the soul, it's time to actually do something about it. Not tomorrow, not after you dial things in, not when everything's perfect, right fucking now. I work with people who are done negotiating with their potential. People who know they've been half-assing their way through life, their body, their business, their relationship, and they want to actually finally change. So if you're serious, I'm giving you a free chance to sit down with me or someone on my team and build the exact plan to escape this failure loop. There is no sales pitch. There will be no pressure. There is no fucking funnel. There's no excuses either. Okay, we're gonna map out the game plan for you, and we'll show you how to rewire the identity that's been sabotaging your life and your progress. And we'll give you the clarity that you've actually been pretending that you don't need. The link's below. You can book the free call, but let me be clear. If you're gonna book and you're gonna ghost, don't bother. Because this is for people who are actually ready to take action and fucking move and change their life. People who are done blaming and ready to execute and take action. So if you're serious, pause, click the link, book the call, talk soon. And then come back and watch the rest of this video with brand new eyes and vision. So, you need to stop outsourcing your breakthrough. We're gonna get back to why you're still stuck. You have been outsourcing your breakthrough to circumstances, waiting for the right program, the right time, waiting for your schedule to be magically calm, waiting for motivation, waiting until the guilt goes away. Let me say it again. Your future doesn't give a shit about your excuses. Your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife does not care how stressed you are. Your gut that's overhanging your belly that you can't see or you know what doesn't care how busy you are. Your self-hate doesn't care about your non-existent sleep schedule. Results don't ask for permission. They only show up when you do. So the lie of I'm trying, let's just fucking kill that word for good. How about that? Try. Okay? Just trying is what people say when they're still afraid to commit. It's code for I want a way out. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to stay consistent. I'm trying to change. No, you're not. Because you're watching this right now still. Okay? You're negotiating with your own weaknesses. You're playing defense. Trying is the halfway house between self-respect and self-sabotaging. You're not trying, you're stalling, and you know it. Because you're still listening to me rant about this. I'm heated. I'm making this because of another client of mine that really aggravated me. You know enough, you just haven't decided. So this isn't a knowledge problem. You've seen all the fitness reels, the macro guys, the motivational posts. You're not stuck because you lack information. You're stuck because you haven't drawn a fucking line in the sand. A real one. The kind of line that says, this version of me doesn't get to exist anymore. And that's when things shift. That's when your body responds. That's when the mirror actually starts to change. Not because the plan is better, but because you're better. Because you're not operating from guilt, from fear, or from shame. You're operating from an identity. You're no longer the guy who tries, you're the guy who executes. And the world moves for that person. So, that's the sequence. You decide who the fuck you are right now. Then remove anything that does not align with this new person. Old habits, old language, old BS, self-sabotage, and talk. All of it has to go. You don't need another reset. You don't need to evolve. You don't need another program. You don't need another PDF, another coach, another macro guide. You don't need 75 hard. You don't need to get harder internally. You don't need another shiny plan, shiny object syndrome. You don't need you just need to finally stop bullshitting yourself and commit to one system built around the kind of person that you're becoming. And that's what I'll show you on the call. This is your halfway point. This is your halfway point. Not just in the video, in your life. You can click away and you can stay the same. Or you can book the call, watch the rest, and walk into a new chapter. It's your choice. But by now, you need to burn the bridge and build the body because you've heard everything. And if you're still watching, I already know one thing about you, that you're not soft. So respect. You've just been stuck. You've been buried under your own mental trash for years. But the good news is you're just one choice away from never going back. But that choice has to be violent, has to be clear, has to be final. You cannot tiptoe around. You cannot tiptoe out of the body and life that you currently hate. You have to blow the fucking bridge up behind you. Because the guy that you have been, he's got to die. Okay? Dead. This is the death of the old you. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The version of you that scrolls motivational reels or videos, but never actually acts. I've been guilty of it, I know. That's why I made this video. The version that hides his gut in every single hoodie at the beach. The version that says, I'm trying, when he orders Uber Eats at 11 fucking p.m. That's the version that tells his girl that he's working on himself, but still hits snoozes every morning. The version that swears he's serious, but until it's time to actually be serious, stop. That version of you, he's built on insecurity, avoidance, and mental softness. You don't need to improve him. You need to eliminate him. Because that man you're meant to be, he doesn't negotiate with weakness. He doesn't miss workouts. He doesn't binge eat his emotions. He doesn't delay decisions that changes his life. Okay, the clock doesn't care. Time is our most valuable asset in life. All right? You think time is your friend? Time is your energy right now. Every day, every week that you wait, your momentum dies. Every day you delay, your brain reinforces the lie that maybe this is just who I am right now. And once that lie gets baked into your identity, it gets harder to kill. This is why guys wake up at 38, fat, divorced, miserable, addicted to caffeine and porn. And they keep telling themselves they're gonna figure it out. Wake up, dude. There is no later. There is no once I get through this month. There is no after vacation. There is only now. And what you do in the next 5 minutes determines if you break the loop, you're gonna relive it again for the 12th fucking time. So if you're still watching this, you have now officially been called out. So now it's time to step up. Because you don't need more proof. You don't need to sleep on it. You don't need to run this by your girlfriend or wait until Monday. You need to decide right now is enough, I'm sick of being like this. So if that's you, book the free call. Show up like your life depends on it, because honestly, it probably does. And walk out of this call with a plan, a path, and a new identity. Again, this is not a funnel. This is not some BS sales pitch. I don't work with everyone, but this is a lifeline for you, because you will walk away with something practical. You've been floating in a fog of your own excuses. Here's your rope. Grab it, or just keep sinking. Because what happens when you book the call? You're gonna sit down face to face, or phone to phone. It's just you and someone who's been where you are, dude. We're gonna map out your mindset and your identity and your habits, and we're gonna destroy the ones that are keeping you stuck. We're gonna show you the exact system I've used with hundreds of people who are in just like your position and now look nothing like the old versions of themselves. People who finally stopped pretending. They just finally committed to something real. But they also booked the same call and they never look back. They don't regret it. But please don't waste my time. Because if you're gonna book this just to feel good about yourself and then flake, don't. There's no point for either one of us. If you're going to book this call and not show up, don't. If you're going to look for a magic trick, gastric bypass, Ozempic, a shortcut, or some motivational boost, this is not for you. I didn't do it. But this is for people who are done talking, done watching, done waiting, and ready to actually execute. Because execution is the separator. It's what splits the doers from the absolute delusional. So what are you gonna be? Another person who just watches another video and goes back to scrolling? Or the person who finally said, I am done with this bullshit, let's fucking go. So, click the link, book your free game plan chat. I only talk to a few handful of people a week because I have clients to actually help. I don't have all day. But if you wait, you're probably gonna miss this window. And if you miss this window, it's not my fault that you stayed stuck. I'm giving you the roadmap. I'm giving you the plan. Even if they're free, I don't care. I love helping people. But now, you just have to take the fucking step. So let's build the body, let's build the discipline, let's build your new identity, and let's do it right now. Talk to you soon.